So when it comes to WNBA free agency, a lot of the player movement that may be expected is not going to come via a traditional signing. Like the player is available, they're free agents, and therefore they are signed to their new team. At least that is unlikely given the structure of WNBA free agency and most notably the core designation, which basically allows a team to core a certain player and get their exclusive rights within the negotiating window to hold on to them or to facilitate a sign and trade so that they don't lose said player for nothing. And that seems to be the most likely scenario for all of the players who are the biggest names who could be on the move. Kelsey Mitchell is one of them. If she were to leave the Fever, that is almost certainly how it would happen because they would core her to not lose her for anything. One thing that's interesting is that the Fever have not cored Kelsey Mitchell yet, at least not to public knowledge. I haven't seen that they've cored Kelsey Mitchell or communicated that they're going to core. They did indicate in the past they would do that, and they have indicated that she's their number one priority. They shared a photo of her on the social media account yesterday. I don't know how much that actually means, but it could be an indication that they're working behind the scenes. I don't know. But obviously, Kelsey Mitchell is one of those players. Another one of those players is Kelsey Plum, who was cored by the Las Vegas Aces. To me, a good fit for Kelsey Plum would be the Golden State Valkyries. You know, she knows the coach for the Valkyries. She also, I think, is at the stage of her career where it would make sense, given she's already won a championship with Vegas or a couple championships with Vegas, to maybe want to go be the face of a franchise somewhere else, to maybe want to go and actually be the leading scorer, the go-to player. And that would make a ton of sense with the Valkyries, a new expansion franchise. What a way for them to put a jolt into their trajectory if they could make a move such as that with the likes of Kelsey Plum. You know, for a trade or any of these trades that I'm talking about to happen, or sign-in trades, if you will, I think you're going to need to use draft compensation. The Valkyries have the 5th pick in the draft, so a conversation about Plum would probably start there. But I love the idea of Kelsey Plum being the face of the Valkyries. Right now, it's Kate Martin. And as cute a story as that is, I'm not sure that long-term it makes sense, you know, obviously, given basketball-wise. I don't know if Kate's quite up to that challenge, though she may be ready for more on her plate. Then there's Satou Sabally. We've discussed this at length, but the Indiana Fever are such a seamless fit for Sabally because they need size and skill out there on the wing and at the 4 spot. I mean, and Sabally fits that to a T. She's been called unicorn for a reason because of her unique skill set, and she would just be tremendous next to Boston and Clark and Hull and assuming, of course, Kelsey Mitchell, if the Fever do indeed retain Kelsey Mitchell. So that's another possible move that you could see on the horizon coming up here when you're talking WNBA free agency movement and sign and trades. As far as what the Fever can do or who they can move, I would say it may start with Nalissa Smith as a player that they're talking about dealing with or moving. Of course, another player or the draft pick could come into play there, but Smith's value is not at her apex, and that's what's tricky to me. You know, if I'm Dallas, I'm asking them to sweeten the pot on that. Really, that's what I'm doing if I'm Dallas, because I don't know, the 8th pick and Smith, is that doing it for me? But I don't know how much leverage these teams actually have either when it's publicly communicated that the player wants to leave. So there's the Sabally aspect of that. And then there's Jewell Loyd, who isn't on the free agency market. She's just on the pure trade block because she wants out of Seattle. And the Sky seemed like a natural fit for Jewell Loyd from a need standpoint. The problem with the Sky is that a lot of players don't seemingly speak highly of the organization. Nothing to do with the players, the organization So that's an issue. Would Loyd want to go there? And then the Sky are also in a weird position because they have the third pick in the draft. Do they want to surrender that for Jewell Loyd? That seems like a lot to give up. Though if Paige Beckers is off the board and Olivia Miles is off the board, they could go get the shooting they need. There's going to be shooting in the draft. AZ Fudd has a huge ceiling in that regard, just as a shooter, even with the injury history or other players that could be available in the draft. So that's a mighty high prize to surrender in a deal. But Loyd does fit the description of what the Sky are likely going to be missing, considering Kennedy Carter is almost certainly out the door, given the reporting, and they didn't extend her a qualifying offer. Clearly, they have concerns about Kennedy Carter behind the scenes because it can't be concerns about her abilities on the court. So the Sky would make sense for Jewell Loyd in that sense, as a player who, they need shot creation and playmaking out of the backcourt because they almost have none of it on that roster right now. Obviously, building around Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso going forward. But to me, those are some of the big names to watch. Obviously, there are other players available on the market. Gabby Williams was just cored. I've liked her with the Fever for a long time. Natasha Howard, another player who could be available or is available as a free agent from the Wings. There are other free agents out. The Sun, all of their good players are free agents, but we don't know how that's going to work out and whether Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner could be a package deal or something like that. But to me, the ones that I put together and felt most seamless were Kelsey Plum to the Valkyries because of what I mentioned, coach connection, but most importantly, like billboard marquee. And here's the ball, go do it. You've already won a championship. Sabally with the Fever, seamless fit. She gets to go to the league's most popular team. Her profile would boost tremendously. They're championship contenders immediately. And Jewell Loyd to the Sky from a necessity standpoint, and she's trying to get a change of scenery. But there are so many, look, the Liberty are going to be big players, even though they're stacked already. We'll see what the Aces do or what they want in return for Plum. A lot of other teams out there on the marketplace. And then there's the possibility of players like Misamin coming over. She has a connection with the Sun coach, or Elena Deladon coming back to the league. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities out there. But the three I like the most I just put together. And we need an update on Kelsey Mitchell too, right? I mean, we've been waiting a minute for the Fever to give us something in regards to Kelsey Mitchell and when we might get an update on her future status with Indiana, as free agency is almost upon us. Deals can begin to be negotiated on January 21st, signed on February 1st.